So Nick, do you want to tell us about your involvement with pregnancy and preparation and how you got started on this track?
Sure. I think to put it in perspective, it was really, if I go back about 18 months, when I first came across your service through your osteopathy practice, and I was traditionally someone who would have always taken the old school medical line on medicine, and in fact almost no medical line on medicine at all. It was, in my attitude, was always just to bash through things, and I could solve things and an injury would always go away. Anyway, my wife Carlotta had been coming to see you for a little bit of time, and had sung your praises, and at the time I was happening to train for a cross-country ski marathon. Right. And I managed to pick up a calf strain during this, and Carlotta was getting very bored of me at home moaning about it, so I was doing my standard thing of trying to push through it, and she said, why don't you go and see Craig? So I, with a sort of begrudgingly, went along to go and see you, and during the session I was still being quite sceptical about the whole thing, and anyway, you treated my calf, and towards the end of the treatment, although you hadn't gone anywhere near the calf, and although I was remembering what you were saying about treating the cause and not the symptom, you asked me to get up and have a little wander around, and for whatever reason the calf strain had gone. So I was pretty amazed by that, and as Carlotta has told me many times since, I came back completely astonished by that. Sometime then passed, and we were considering having a baby, and Carlotta said to me that she was going to come and have a conversation with you about perhaps the best approach, and I was a bit surprised. Why would you ask your osteopath what the best approach to having a baby is? Surely it's pretty straightforward as to how that all comes about. And she said to me, well, I'm just going to have a conversation with Craig anyway. And she came back having said that she'd had a conversation with you, and your advice had been that it might be in our best interest to go through some sort of detox program, and not that we were particularly heavy drinkers or anything else. And anyway, your advice was that we should perhaps consider a detox program, and I'd said to Carlotta, fantastic, I'm happy to support you through a detox program. And Carlotta then said to me, actually no, it's both of us. We both need to think about doing some sort of detox program. I again was probably wearing my sceptical hat, and anyway, so you sent a bit of information through about it, and in fact then the detox supplements came through, and we read the information together, and it seemed to make a lot of sense. And I think what you talked about in relation to levels of toxin in your body, and how our everyday lifestyles and the way we live means that you're never really getting the toxins out of your system, and you're never giving your body a chance to really clean itself. And whilst a simple detox program for a month isn't going to clean it for good or in totality, it's going to do a little bit of good, and we might find ourselves in better shape to consider having a baby. Anyway, we went through the detox program, and probably throughout it I was thinking, I'm also beginning to, or still thinking that I might be a little bit sceptical about it. It was about a week in when the two of us, Carlotta and I, started coming out in spots and biting each other's heads off, and generally being pretty ratty with each other, pretty tired, and generally pissed off. And after a little time of this passed, we started to feel a lot better, and I think Carlotta gave you a call around the time we were feeling a bit sort of grotty with each other, and you said, no, it's perfectly normal. Towards the end of the detox program, it was a month in, we were feeling fantastic. Day one, straight after the detox program was finished, I thought I'm going to put this to the test, and went out on a bit of a bender to see really how detoxified I'd become, and how easily I'd recover post a bender. And so, sure enough, I woke up the following morning with a splitting hangover. I thought, well, this isn't going to go away for another 36 hours. Got up, shaved before I was going to work, and before I'd even finished shaving, I felt miraculously better, and I was thinking, oh, that's extraordinary. Anyway, then at the time, we thought, well, you know,
This is not the reason to do the detox for the I just want to make that clear to everyone.
so of course the prime purpose of it was to clean ourselves out and make sure that we were in good shape for having a kid. So obviously we read a lot anyway about having a baby, and I think perhaps my sort of typically blokey attitude to it was had moved a little bit further on through that detox program, and we then embarked on trying to having our baby, and I'd say the first 2 or 3 goes at it were, you know, following some textbook description of how it should be done, and all very unpassionate and sort of impassionate, and all very unrelaxed, and just generally not being sort of true to what we were trying to do. And on the 4th go, in fact, the 4th month, we really just felt very relaxed about the whole thing. We both felt fantastically well. It felt very natural. It felt very right, and we felt at the time that we conceived Luca, who's our little boy who's arrived. We felt it had happened. We knew it had happened, and it was almost like when it came around to the pregnancy test, it was almost money worth not spending, because we sort of knew it was going to be okay. And actually, the whole pregnancy itself, whether it had anything to do with this, I have no idea. But the pregnancy itself was a totally easy pregnancy, and you know, we're both very happy to have our little boy.
Brilliant.